Welcome to Baila Travel. My name is Jenny and Kevin's behind the camera. Today we're going to be showing you around Aguascalientes for their annual Festival Cultural de Calaveras. Día de Muertos in Aguascalientes is a big deal, as it is in most of Mexico. Each year since 1994, the Festival Cultural de Calaveras is one of the most important events for the state of Aguascalientes. It was canceled in 2020 due to the pandemic, and in 2021 it is said that it was smaller than in past years, boasting only around 200 events as opposed to the almost 300. This 5-day festival is a huge celebration filled with color, joy, sadness, nostalgia, love, and family. We learn so much more about the Day of the Dead here than we have any time ever. Its history, the customs, the symbolism. We didn't grow up making altars for Day of the Dead in our families, and our parents didn't really have that upbringing either. They were raised more Catholic than anything. But as we continue our journey in strengthening our connection to our Mexican heritage, it's a tradition that we've embraced since it's one of the most emblematic examples of mestizaje, the blending of European and native Mesoamerican cultures. We chose to spend our first Día de Muertos in Aguascalientes because of two museums that were key for learning about the history of the celebration. One of them is the Museo de José Guadalupe Posada, and the other is the Museo Nacional de la Muerte. We were really hoping to be able to go inside the National Museum of Death, but unfortunately it's closed for renovations until May 2022.
So we headed to the Museo of José Guadalupe Posada.
So we need to apologize. We came to the museum and they're closed on Monday and Tuesday, so we failed you guys big time.
We're not going to be able to include actual footage from the José Guadalupe Posada Museum in our vlog like we really wanted to. We would have gone last week, but I've been sick with some weird stomach things going on, like bedridden sick and toilet. Okay, that's too much info. But
and I blew out my back, so I can barely walk. I'm walking around like an old man.
we're like broken.
Yeah.
We're not having a good time right now. I mean, we are, but our bodies are not having the best. So enjoy these pictures from the internet.
We still plan to make it out to the Museo of José Guadalupe Posada, so make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
One of the funnest parts of the celebration is painting your face with a calavera. We got our faces done by makeup artist Isabel Avila at Estética Raquel. Lots of people get their faces painted for the holiday as a lighthearted expression of death. But it is also said that it helps our dearly departed feel welcome as they visit us in the land of the living.
The festival was spread out with pabellones filled with live music, food, and activities. The Pabellón de Pan de Muerto was in the kids section and sold freshly made traditional sweet bread and gave the kids a free piece for attending their workshop. Other activities included skull painting and artwork. This was a really fun event. If I was a kid, I would want to be here.
¿Sabían que el pan de muertos son nuestras tradiciones? Y en la parte de arriba lleva unos huesitos que en este momento los vamos a preparar.
So let's give you all a tour of what this festival looks like. There's so much going on. So you have a stage, you have plenty of food sections, you have an event that's going on, and
This is Palacio del Gobierno, and they have this event called Altares Vivientes, or basically altars that come to life. So there are actors dressed up and representative altars. There's a huge line and it's free, but they ran out of the free tickets within like 2 days of giving them out.
so that's our biggest tip. We've been here 2 weeks in advance. But we snoozed hard.
So thank goodness that Kevin went up and asked what all these lines were for. I just assumed that the lines were for the people who had tickets waiting to get in, and one of those lines were. But it turns out that there's a second line of people who can wait to see if there's extra space. So if all the people with tickets didn't show up, and if there's space, there's a capacity of 180 people today, then maybe we could get in. So now we're standing in line, full of hope, to see if we can get in.
We were able to get in the very last show.
That was not what I expected, but that was really cool.
Super cool. It's all about the theater and film of Mexico.
Is that like a theme? Are there themes every year for the festival? That's something I'm wondering.
Because this year's theme seems to be lights, camera, action.
And it's about Mexican cinema and Mexico's golden age and the important figures that have shaped Mexico's cinematic culture.
Dope. We got lucky.
I'm impressed by how big and well done this event is and how much of it is absolutely free for everyone. There are a few things that are paid, but even then they're really accessible. 100 pesos, 120 pesos for tickets for
a theater.
for a theater event.
Yeah.
Like, it's really, really good. It's such a well done event. This is day one of the two most important days for Dia de Muertos, and also day 4 of this festival, right?
Yep. So the festival started on October 29th, and it's been non-stop partying, eating. Little kids get to make their bread.
So many colors.
There's like workshops of so many things. There's theater. There's dances. There's
so full of cultural events.
It's been so cool to be able to see a festival. Kind of. It's not like It's been a long time it's been a long time since we've seen a festival, and it feels good to kind of be able to get back in the groove after the pandemic. It's not as big like an EDM festival, but it's really cool because it's cultural, it's for families, everybody's having a good time. And then at the end of the day, you have a huge stage to our left.
Oh, huge stage. That's where they have the biggest concert. They had a guy or group named Caloncho, which after listening to him, I think I'm officially a fan.
Aunque nunca la conocí, y sueño con su querer. Y en sus brazos quiero dormir. Te escucho cada día en la radio. Seguro que la vuelvo a ir. Y en el cielo busco mi estrella. A la luna quiero subir. Voy desvelado por esas calles esperando encontrar.
But they have music, they have stages all over the central area, and we were told that this is smaller than in past years because of the pandemic. I already think it's huge. I can't imagine how much bigger it actually is.
Yeah, apparently when there's no pandemic, it extends out to an island that they have here, La Isla de San Marcos, which we haven't even gotten the chance to visit because there's just so much going on here. But man, this is huge. One thing that we're like reflecting on is that as Mexican Americans, we're happy that we get an opportunity to celebrate both Halloween and Dia de Muertos in one whole weekend.
Obviously, Dia de Muertos is bigger. It's the bigger tradition. But all weekend we've seen people dressed up in like Halloween costumes. And yesterday we even saw trick-or-treating.
Which was super cool. Like, as Halloween is expanding in Mexico, we get to experience a little bit of Halloween and then get to enjoy this whole festivity, cultural festivity of Dia de Muertos, which is, it's so special and it's awesome.
And what's cool is that we're noticing that in the US, the Dia de Muertos is gaining mainstream popularity. I hope that they take good care of the tradition because I also have witnessed that it's also being commercialized more. As long as it's being done with respect, I think it's really great that both the US and Mexico are sharing these traditions with each other as we see more Halloween here and more Dia de Muertos there. That makes me feel good because I can identify with that, you know, it's both best of both worlds for me. So There are a whole lot of festival snacks you can enjoy while you're around here, but one of the things that you can't miss out on when you're here is the jicaleta. The jicaleta is a paleta de jicama, and they dip it in chamoy and chili powder, and it's like pretty much the only thing I can eat right now because I have a stomach issue going on. And since jicama is really good in fiber, it's 90% water, lots of vitamins. It's like both healthy and it's such a treat. I usually go to this spot right here, this jicaleta spot, but I think today I'm gonna give some business to the local street vendor.
Bomb.
So good. 15 pesos here, 20 pesos at the shop. Same thing. Delicious and healthy. We left the main area for the plaza principal, and we're heading into Jardín de San Marcos for the other part of the festival. It's huge.
It's a completely different party, so.
Go check it out. It's a beautiful garden too, even at night. Look.
In the neighborhood of San Marcos, we saw this beautiful altar that Indio Cerveza put up to sell micheladas. We didn't last very long in San Marcos because Jenny picked a fight again with this cute teddy bear.
And I'm gonna say.
She was tempted to push him because he seemed so easy to topple over. Kidding. Jenny just likes to play fight and then hug it out after.
So we're anxiously waiting for the parade here at Día de Muertos in Aguascalientes, and it is jam-packed. You want to make sure you get here at least 2 hours early in order to be able to get a good spot.
We were here just over an hour early and we're still not at the best front row seat. If you haven't seen our part 1 for Día de Muertos in Aguascalientes, we highly recommend it for the full background on the history of both the tradition, Día de Muertos, and the origin story of La Catrina. So check that one out for sure. It's really good if you haven't seen it already. And we made that one with lots of love, and if you make it to the end, you're in for a special treat. At least from us, personally. Damn it, I'm losing teeth.
It's alright, baby. I still love you without teeth.
Just like I love you with fake teeth.
It's how I love you with fake eyelashes. I should turn this off.
The parade started with a marching band and then showcased art and talent from Aguascalientes and beyond in the theme of the festival: lights, camera, action. The theme is a nod to Mexico's golden age of cinema from 1936 to 1956, and the floats included distinguished actors from that time. Aguascalientes is proud to be the one who started the evening parade, and other states have since adopted this aspect to their own celebrations. The festival ended with a beautiful light show with video mapping on the Palacio de Gobierno. It was truly spectacular.
No vale nada la vida no vale nada.
We look forward to spending El Día de Muertos somewhere else next year. Not because we didn't like Aguascalientes, just because we want to learn about different cultures and different traditions that they do in different places.
In different states in Mexico. I've heard so many good things about Janitzio and Michoacan. I've heard great things about Oaxaca. Let us know if you've spent Dia de Muertos somewhere in Mexico, if you've heard of an amazing place. Drop your suggestions down below so that we can keep them for next year. Want to give a special shout out to our patrons on Patreon. Thank you so much for your support. Your support helps us to continue making videos like this, and if you'd also like to become a Patreon member, be sure to visit patreon.com/eatbailatravel, or you can also buy us a coffee anytime, or in our case, a glass of wine, as we continue to work on our wine blog. Thank you so much.
Se cuidan, se bañan y nos vemos hasta la próxima.
Ciao.
Chao.